At this point, what we would like to do is continue to reinforce the fact that what we're going to see here tonight are a lot of different vehicles. The whole concept behind the SEMA reveal was the opportunity to see a few of the higher end vehicles, special vehicles, new builds, come across this stage and get a chance to chat with the builder or the owner or the person behind the car. And really, the backstory is that this kind of takes a page out of Walt Disney's playbook, because these cars were going to make it into the show no matter what, right? So they thought, let's make something fun. We were already having the dinner tonight to have people celebrate the event. So why not make something special out of it and bring the cars back? Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick of the LVB, once again. All right, my friends, this is the SEMA reveal, where we bring all kinds of different vehicles up to our stage, and we're starting off with a bang, right? So when you see a car like this, there's only one thing you're going to think about, and that is right there. That's Hoonigan.
Yes, sir. It is actually our 10-year anniversary today, on this very day where we launched at SEMA, November 1st, 2011.
That is fantastic, and it was right here, like exactly 10 years ago. Do you guys ever think that you would have grown to be the gigantic force in media and entertainment that Hoonigan has become?
Well, I want to say yes, no. No, you know, it grew like wildfire, and it's pretty rad to see the evolution of it go from just having, you know, a small, essentially t-shirt brand that was building cars and trying to do cool videos to sell shirts to, you know, now having the Burnyard out there for a third year and,
yeah,
you know, just bringing a big crowd and smashing for everybody.
Well, what I love is when Hoonigans finish up a video and they release it, the entire internet stops. I mean, you guys bend the world with some of those videos, and I sit there and go, you know, I've shot video all over the place. I don't know how you lock down Long Beach or Los Angeles or any of the cities you guys have done this stuff in. It's amazing.
Excellent producers.
For sure.
And some of them, you know, like, thank you.
Yeah, so,
dangerous.
James is getting heckled already.
Well,
where are you?
Before we get started here, guys, I want to point something out. Now, so far, our first two vehicles here at the 2021 SEMA Monday Night Reveal have been large vehicles. This one, you're going to run it up the stage, and the stage said, no, wait a minute, you need to keep that down there. Give me a little break. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce a couple of friends of ours, Mr. Ant Anstead and James Marsden.
How's it going?
Do you feel moderately underdressed?
Yes, I do.
All you need is $100. There's a place right over there. You're in business.
Fantastic. We'll have to sell the car for it, but we'll do it.
Yeah, those really poor Hollywood actors. Oh.
That's Well, so speaking of the car, right? So, Ant, you are working on a new show. It's put on a few episodes called Celebrity IOU Joyride, right? Tell us about the premise of the show, because I really dig it.
Yeah, it's a show on Discovery Plus. So those of you that haven't seen it, it's called Celebrity IOU Joyride. Myself and Christy Lee, that this crowd will know, we team up with some well-known people. In this case, James Marsden.
In this case, not so well known.
It's not my car.
We team up with a well-known celebrity, and we assemble a vehicle to give away to somebody that truly deserves it. And in James's case, I think you better tell us who the deserving recipient was.
Yeah, so I was a fan of Ant's for a couple of weeks.
Let's talk more about that.
Before we went into this. And I got the opportunity. I love the idea of the show. I love the sort of gifting element of it. I've been a car nut my whole life. My brother-in-law, Will, is the only person that I knew that was more into vehicles and anything with a wheel on it than I was. And he had a 1963 Buick Electra that he always wanted to restore and electrify, which would have been impossible if you were going to do that the conventional way, because it's way too heavy. So he had to sell this Buick he had in 4 generations of his family for, I don't know, it was a couple $1,000s or something, and say goodbye to it to pay some bills. And I thought, he's one of the kindest, most generous, loving people that I know. I want to do something nice for him. So I got with this man, and he came up with a plan to electrify, to not only restore this beautifully, but to electrify it and make it a lot quicker than it was in the 60s.
Well, I bet. So this thing new probably had a 401 Buick Nailhead motor with a 2-speed trans?
You should ask Will, standing over here.
Oh, so it was a Wildcat. So the thing that's cool about these cars is they came in a variety of different body styles, and I believe this one has what is known as the Park Avenue style, which is actually a slightly shorter trunk. They came longer, right? So was Will's 4-door like this, or was it different, or is this similar to the car that he had?
I believe Will's was a 4-door, you didn't have the A-pillar, I think.
It was a hardtop.
Right.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so how do you take something this big, this heavy, and electrify, like you're saying?
Tell them, it's wonderful.
My job's done. I got to sit here and look. No, I enlisted this man. He knew how to do it, and so what we did is we took the guts out of the original car, and supplanted the original guts of the sort of junker that we found with a 2020 whatever Karma Rivera GT, which is a 550 brake horsepower electric supercar essentially.
Yeah.
And they restored this original 63 body and basically dropped it on top of that skateboard. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, the Karma Rivera GT, if you guys know it, electric car, hybrid car. We took a 9-inch grinder, cut the roof off it. This is a brand new car, by the way. Cut all the excessive side bits out, took the guts out the Buick, and get this, the wheelbase on the 60s Electra is only 35 millimeters. You might need to give that in inches.
That's about half inch.
35, about 3 inches. 35 millimeters off the Rivera. So we lowered the body on, modified the front arch, so it's been cut and moved back, flared the rear arches and raised it a little bit so we can get the rear wheels on and off, but actually, it fit pretty well.
How about the track width?
No, we didn't change the track width at all. So hidden under there, if you get a chance, look inside the interior. Hidden under there is a brand new road-going Karma GT.
That's unbelievable.
One of the coolest things that, one of the touches was, or challenges actually, was reducing the weight of just the body itself. I helped disassemble this car, and I held one of the original doors, and you don't ever want to hold one of those things. So Ant and Christy and company decided to make a custom carbon fiber hood and trunk. So what you see on the trunk here and on the hood is all custom carbon fiber to get this car on a diet.
That's my work.
Ones in the world that do that.
That's my work.
And that's what we were going for too.
Friday night reveal, and so far we've seen some pretty interesting cars. We saw something that is on the cartoon side of the scale, then we saw the electric Electra, and now we're seeing something that is straight from the future. This is a very special car, and I'm looking forward to learning all about it. As soon as we get this thing situated, we're going to have our driver step out. Hello, sir. Welcome to the SEMA reveal.
Thank you. My name is Hiroshi Tamura, Nissan Chief Product Specialist.
Thank you, Hiroshi.
This is my partner, by the way.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
My main dance partner.
Your main dance partner. Well, I love it. So this is the 2023 Nissan Z.
Exactly. This is a new one. The all-new vehicle from maybe 20 to spring.
Okay.
We can deliver for you guys.
Well, what I love about this car, and I haven't seen much of it yet because it is so new, is so the Nissan 240Z came out in what, 68?
1969.
1969. So you had the 240, the 280, the 300, the 350, the 370, and now the new Z, and they all share the same DNA. Up Mr. Jim Campbell, who is the Vice President of Performance and Motorsports for General Motors. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Great to see you.
It's your show, buddy.
All right. SEMA, we're here. We're in person. Hey, big shout out to Chris Kirsting and Chairman James Lawrence for making SEMA happen in person in 2021. They're out here. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you guys for bringing us back live. There was not a chance that we weren't going to be here. We love SEMA, and we're so glad that you're all here in person. Also with our team is the head of Chevrolet, is Steve Hills here. He's over here. So Steve's great to be with you. Our Vice President of Engineering for GM, Michelle Gardner's here. Michelle, great to see you. There she is, wave. Also from GMC, our Director of Marketing, Rich Latek. And we've got some great stuff from GMC, so Rich, thanks for being here. You know, our company and SEMA, we have a long history together. Goes back to Chevrolet with a small block V8 and all the great products, performance, on track, off track. But we love coming to SEMA and debuting products and powertrains for the street, for the track, for off-road, for hot rodders, everywhere. And that's all of us together. So what do you say we get started? If you do that, I want to introduce our Vice President of Global Buick and GMC, Duncan Aldred, to help me introduce the first vehicle. Duncan, come on out. And with him is Roger McCormick, our Director of Accessories and Performance Parts. Welcome, guys. Good to see you. It's great to have you here. Well, Duncan, what'd you bring?
Well, it's my first time at SEMA. I've been dying to come for years, been trying to think of a very special reason to come here, and GMC's really done it. Ladies and gentlemen, the world's first super truck, the GMC Hummer EV.
Duncan, looks great. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind the Hummer EV.
Well, first of all, you just got to smile when you see it coming along there with the lights on the front. But this is the world's first super truck. It's got 1,000 horsepower, nearly 12,000 pounds of torque, so it's an amazing vehicle. But it's fantastic whether it's on-road or off-road. On-road, it can do 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. It's got the latest generation Super Cruise hands-free driving, automatic lane change assist, capable of towing huge vehicles as well in hands-free driving mode. And the four-wheel steer, believe it or not, makes this so nimble around town. It's got the turning circle of a compact car. It's absolutely fantastic. But that's just the beginning of it, because off-road, it's a true off-road beast. It's got a 6-inch lift in extract mode, and it really can go anywhere and pretty much do anything. So absolutely amazing super truck.
Now I want to shift to Chevy. To help me do that, I want to introduce our global head of design, Phil Zach for Chevrolet. Phil, come on up. Come on up, Phil. And with him is our Director of Performance and Racing Propulsion, Russell Bladis. Welcome, guys. Well, I think it's about time we bring up a new definition of performance. What do you say? Let's bring it up.
Bring it up.
Big dog. I better rev this thing. Let's go. There you go. There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the all-new 2023 Corvette Z06 Coupe. What do you think? And behind the wheel, he's an 11-year veteran of Corvette racing. 15 total wins, including the 24 Hours of Daytona, the 12 Hours of Sebring, and he's won the 24 Hours of Le Mans, not once, but twice. Tommy Milner's here, driver of the number 4 Corvette C8R. Welcome, buddy. Well, Tommy, there it is, Corvette Z06. You know Corvette pretty well. You've won a lot of races with Corvette. What do you think about the Z06?
What a machine. It looks fast, it sounds amazing. It's taken everything that made the C8 Stingray special and amplified it. And as we know, the Z06 is all about performance, and that starts with the heart of the car, the engine. That engine has powered our Corvette C8R race car to 2 championships and a lot of race wins, so it's got plenty of performance.
That engine sound is pretty familiar to you. Phil is the design chief of Chevrolet. Tell us about the design of the Z06.
I hope you like what you see and also what you heard.
We love it!
All right, so do we. Glad you're there. Hey, what we wanted to do is everything that we designed on this was to enhance the performance. And as we know, wider is always better on the track. So what you see here is the track on this is about 4 inches wider than current C8. Technically 3.6 inches. But we've also gone through on the wheels, largest we've had on Corvette, front 20s, rear 21s, and also the wheels, forged aluminum, and then you have an optional carbon fiber. So again, lightweight, performance-based. What we've also done, first time for Corvette Z06, front and rear fascias are unique to the vehicle here. We did a lot of work in the wind tunnel, flows better, more downforce. Obviously we needed a new rear quarter, new fenders for the muscular stance, all outstanding. On the flow and the performance, we also have spoilers that you can adjust, high wing, low wing, interior's done, bespoke, different interior combinations. This is Adrenaline Red. We think we've got a bespoke exotic for...
We're gonna take a look at it. Bring it up. Bring it on up.
Don't be shy, let's go! Right here!
Let's go. Bring it on up. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet the 2023 Corvette Z06 convertible. And behind the wheel, he's an original member of Corvette Racing, 30 race wins. Overall winner, 24 Hours of Daytona, 2001. 4-time winner of the 12 Hours of Sebring, 2-time 24 Hours of Le Mans winner. He's a 3-time Drivers' Champion. Please welcome Hall of Fame driver Ron Phillips. All right, Ron. That's what we like to hear. And as Ron's getting out of the car, on the other side, I want to welcome our GM Director of Motorsports Competition Engineering, Mark Stilo. And for those of you at SEMA, you may know Mark. He knows a lot about performance. Welcome, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. So, Ron, you have a lot of time on Corvette, for sure. Guess you choose your mic there, it's okay. So what do you think about the Corvette convertible?
Well, Jim, I've never been much of a convertible fan, but the C8 Stingray is awesome. But this Z06 is absolutely stunning. And yes, I want one.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Well, that's great. And Mark Stilo, you've had a unique role before. Now, for the next vehicle, I want to bring up a couple of my friends that have helped us design this next vehicle. For Performance Motorsports and Accessory Design Studio, Mark Mainfield. Mark, come on out. Mark's touched almost every car in the Chevy display and the Hummer display, so Mark, welcome, buddy. Great to see you. Great to see you. And from our Performance Variants and Parts Engineering team, Dom Lester. Dom, come on out. Dom knows a lot about performance, by the way, loves drag racing, does that in his spare time, but he leads our Performance Variants and High Performance Parts team, right? Welcome, guys. Well, I think it's time to talk about a cool concept featuring one of our Chevrolet Performance crate engines. It's all about off-road. Let's take a look. Bring it up. Yeah, bring it up. Shall we bring it up? Bring it up! go! Oh yeah.
Good. Wait, know anything about this? That thing sounds amazing. Yeah. All day. I saw that this morning when they were trying to cover him up. Oh, it's great. What was that? He's ready. I'll be mad if it's an absence.
Well, I'd like you to meet the Chevrolet Beast concept. It's created as a showcase of the power and off-road capability of Chevrolet performance. And here it is. Bring it up. Jeff Trush, bring it up. Oh yeah. There we go. Beautiful. Thank you, Jeff. All right, guys, come on out. Come on out. Let's talk about this. There's the Beast. So, Mark, tell us about the concept and kind of the inspiration from your perspective as a designer. Take it away.
Thank you, Jim. When we worked on this project, we really wanted to create the ultimate off-road toy. We wanted to focus on proportions that would give it amazing off-road capabilities. We gave it beadlock wheels with 37-inch OG tires in the corners. We gave it an open-air feel with removable doors and a really aggressive design. Couldn't be more excited about it.
It looks good. Dom, let's talk about the chassis, the capability.
Yes.
That's your department. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so Jim, you know, to really be that beast for the off-road customer, we sporting a 91-inch track whip here with a custom front and rear suspension, custom control arms in the front, and a 4-link with a panel bar in the rear. Also custom dampers here that allow us to have 12 inches of wheel travel in the front and 15.5 inches of wheel travel in the rear. As far as chassis dimensions, one of the things here to really bolster our off-road performance, we have a greater than 45-degree departure and approach angle to really allow for that rock climbing and the off-road. So it's really a beast as it is.
Love the chassis components, love the design. Dom, what about under the hood?
Yeah, so to really capitalize on that suspension and chassis, we obviously couldn't shortchange ourselves in the power department. So this has a 6.2-liter supercharged LT4, 650 horsepower and 650 foot-pounds of torque, coupled with a 10-speed transmission, a 10L90 with a 2-speed transfer case. So definitely trying to put the power down with the suspension chassis.
I love it. It shows the possibilities of performance and off-road capability with a Chevy crate engine. It's going to be on our display tomorrow. The guys will be there, plus a lot of folks. Jeff Trush behind the wheel, help build this thing. You can answer all your questions. What a cool concept, guys. Thanks for bringing it out.
Yeah,
thanks, Jim.
All right, let's take it away. Hey, Jeff. Go get him, buddy. Please take it to the display and not the desert today. Well, hey, that's just the beginning of what's coming from General Motors.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, more awesome stuff to come. You know, just a few minutes ago, we heard from the GM crowd about some brand new, very high-tech Corvettes. And now, we've got some old, high-tech Corvettes of sorts. These two coming up here are being presented by our friends Dave Kindig and Kev Dog. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it.
Well, good evening.
Welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having us. And more importantly, thanks for all of you guys showing up. We'll show everybody that didn't show up this year how much fun we had.
It's so good to be back.
And it's
so good to be back in Las Vegas at SEMA.
For sure.
We missed you, SEMA, and we're here and we're ready to party.
Love to hear it. And these guys are partying right now. It's fantastic.
We'll be down shortly.
Yeah! Don't drink everything.
Yeah, right. So, talking about a party, you guys bring two cars, both to the stage at the same time. These are awesome.
Thank you. You know, this is actually, well, 22 years in business, but more importantly, 50 years old. I wanted to build a car. When I was 7 years old, I wanted to be a car designer and builder. to be able to actually do a full turnkey car from ground up. There's only 4 or 5 components that are actually reproduction Corvette pieces. Everything else is all built custom for these cars.
Yep. And so you've done some manufacturing, if you will. You got some custom parts and things like that. But now you're just going all the way.
This is what's so beautiful about this, and you guys are going to laugh. This car takes a quarter of the time to build than any other car that we build.
Yeah.
Because it's production, this car took the amount of time it took to build. This one is almost half the amount of time, which means that we can build these cars in less than 3 months.
So what you're telling me is that people are going to be able to get their hands on one of these because you're going to build more.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah, we're going to build a lot of them. So these 2 cars are so special to us because we have 2 very good clients. We have a lot of great clients, but 2 in particular, Rick Cox and Dave Jones. They gave us the opportunity to design and dream and build this car, which allowed us the money to go forward with making a production vehicle. So Dave and Rick, we absolutely love you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity and helping us get ahead of the game a little bit. These are 2 beautiful cars, and I couldn't imagine 2 people who deserve them more, and we're so proud to build them for you guys. So thank you very much.
White one's the best one.
And Rick says the white one is the best one because they have a competition between the 2. They're best friends.
Yeah, Dave says the blue one's better.
It's in a close second, he says.
That's what he said. That's what he said. I didn't say that. That's what he said.
Yeah.
You guys are going to race for pinks later, right? Okay.
Let's talk about the car. It's obviously a modern, sleeker adaptation of the very first Corvette.
That's right. So the very first Corvette here is actually from 1953, the styling, which was cool because Rick was born in 1953.
Nice.
So it was fitting that he got car number 1, and of course we wanted to stay true to what the original cars were. The original 1200 built in 1953 were all polo white with red interior.
Yep.
So we wanted to do something that was very representative of that, but of course the 3-inch to 0 sectioning through the center of the car, the headlights redesigned to lay back and sleek. The tail lights, there's so many cool things about the car, and I've always seen the romance of the 53 Corvette. It is such a beautiful design with a couple of tweaks that we made to it. I think it's just a little bit more beautiful.
Well, one of the things that I think is really cool about that 53 in particular is it was kind of an anomaly. I mean, General Motors was not in the fiberglass business, right? So they built like the first one, not really knowing where that was going to go. And they didn't really have fiberglass figured out yet. You know, the boat manufacturers did back in the 50s, but Chevrolet didn't. So those first 53s, they're all kind of hand-built bodies, and they fit interestingly. This doesn't fit like
That's a nice way of saying clunky and misfit. The thing about it too is GM didn't want to waste any V8s on the cars. They actually fitted them with the truck 6-cylinder and put a flashy name, Fireball, to make it interesting to the people that were going to buy the car.
That was the same engine as the Future Liner had, right?
It is actually really close. It's actually smaller cubic inch.
They used that a lot.
6. They used it on everything they didn't really want to keep around. So the beauty of these cars, they're carbon fiber. The carbon fiber work is done in Tacoma, Washington by Duck Graff that was formerly CRC. And the bodies are absolutely beautiful. You can put these at 150, 180 degrees. They will never show the carbon fiber pattern.
And that's the biggest challenge with fiberglass or carbon, is after you do the body work, spend all this time blocking it out, it sits out the sun, everything shrinks, and here's the fiber.
Right. So we've perfected the bodies. We've perfected the suspension. This is a Spec 7 roadster shop chassis.
Very nice.
But it's modified for our cars because I want to be able to put a 6.5 foot tall guy in the car. This will actually fit somebody that's 6.5 feet tall. You sit 4 inches deeper, 4.5 inches back. The floorboard is pushed forward 2 inches, and the windshield's actually 3.5 inches lower than a stock 53. You don't look like the Shriners or the Poobahs are in town. It's actually really, really cool. So,
a Kindig Fez.
No offense to any Shriners
yeah, if
or
there's any
Poobahs.
Shriners or Poobahs, yeah, thank you. We'll be here all week. Try the lobster.
That's right. So the chassis is top shelf. The body fit. Obviously, that Blue Flame 6 is probably not part of this.
That's right. So we got rid of the idea of doing anything in the 6-cylinder. We use a Lingenfelter LS7 with LS3 heads, 8-stack injection provided by Borla, which also makes the special muffler, which has a crossover incorporated into a single muffler, so we have the room for it.
Nice.
This car absolutely sounds beautiful. If you heard it, obviously pulling up, it rips. It'll go around corners like it's on rails. It looks beautiful, and we're going to keep building these cars.
The LS7, did you go with a wet sump pan or a dry sump?
It's a wet sump.
Nice. Yep. You mentioned going around corners, so that's one of the things that was a little bit scary in that 53. I've driven some. They've got a steering wheel the size of a city bus, and it stands straight up and down. But you've got nice seats, and it looks like you're going to stick with the car in the turn.
It's absolutely comfortable. All of the first cars that we've sold are all automatic 480Es, backed with that same motor. We are also going to offer this car in electric.
Did you know that?
Ooh, yeah, he's been telling me.
I know.
I couldn't tell anybody.
Here's the thing.
Then he tells everybody.
I'm a petrol head. I love the smell and the sound and all that stuff, but we got to get kind of with it. Eventually, those cars are going to be so much fun to drive. I've actually drove, which you'll get to see, well, actually you did get to see it. I drove a 58 Apache at the Good Guys show in Salt Lake City. 800 foot-pounds of torque, 450 horsepower, 400 volt. Stock steering and stock brakes, which sucked. Yeah. But man, did it go. I can only imagine what it'd be like in this car.
Now, you've done a number of Corvettes, and there's a family thing with you and Corvettes, right? I mean, these things are kind of in your blood.
Yeah, so a couple, 3 years ago, we brought my dad's 57 Corvette that we called the Family Affair, that all of our family at Kindigat Design, and of course my dad, Richard, we were all working on the car together. It's absolutely fantastic. A few years ago from now as well, we brought the 62 up here of Lloyd Carney's. Another beautiful car, well-tuned, rips. And you know, I'm not going to turn into a Corvette shop, but at the same time, these are really actually really fun to drive and fun to build.
Absolutely, and they look dynamite, and I'm so glad you guys brought them both up, so we see that they are repeatable. So where are these going to be on display here this week?
So car number 1 of Rick's is going to be in our booth right here. You can't miss it. We've got a huge floor plan, and the car will be on display there. Car number 2 of Dave's is going to be in the Lingenfelter booth, which is in the central hall here, over by just behind GM. So stop by, take a look at the details. These cars are absolutely flawless. They're wonderful, and we're excited for everybody to be excited about these cars.
Love it. Thanks again for sharing. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave and Kev and the Corvettes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a great show. What do you got, Patrick?
No pressure.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as we move these two, that they do sound fantastic, off the stage, this is one of those cool opportunities to kind of look around for a moment and realize that, yes, we are here once again at the SEMA show, at the Monday Night Reveal. A little while ago, we didn't know this was going to happen, and a little while longer, we thought it would never go away, and it would never be a year when it wasn't the SEMA show. So I know personally, I'm trying to make time to take a moment to look around and just take it in. We're all here. This could go away again. We don't want it to just honor that we're here tonight. How many of us have friends and relatives that say, we have the best job in the world and we get to go to the SEMA show, right? Well, you guys get to also, so you have to appreciate that. And something
to run standalone, and all the new vehicles, there's lots of controls, and
for sure,
you know, so to be able to make it run where the motor would run without having the rest of the vehicle around it. I had an amazing team. Adam and AJ, 2 guys on my team, did.
And you guys were able to integrate a C8 Corvette shifter. So the push button C8 shifter.
Yeah, so when you get to see it, and so that just, it's the ETRS right from that.
Yeah.
So that activates the drive unit.
Well, I got to tell you, it's very unexpected, but at the same time, it makes sense. This is a car that was designed to try out new stuff and be a proving ground.
Project X has always been that way. It's been the car that we've tried new stuff, and you know, people, oh, an EV, and I'm like, well, there's a time when we put EFI on it. People are like, EFI, what's wrong with carburetors? I don't know why you're doing that.
For sure.
And so that's always been the purpose of X, is to try new things. And I say, you know, in 10 or 20 years, it'll be fusion powered, it'll be flying around, it'll be like Back to the Future.
Well, and you know, from our side, if you look, we just came out the same time, the 632, 1,000 horsepower, normally aspirated. You know, our goal is to be able to cover all the customers, you know, with great products. So this really just kind of bookends our overall great portfolio.
Well, it just gives hot rodders more options. You know, it's, you know, more possibilities on what they can do. They want to go EV route, yeah. They want to go 1,000 horsepower big block, they got that too.
Well, the sense of motion and speed, you know, doesn't really matter where it comes from. I know that this is controversial. It's very polarizing, like you said. It'll be interesting to show both sides, the advantages and disadvantages. But one of the things that I think is most important about this project is that today we have the freedom to do this, we can do whatever we want. Now, we got to make sure we keep that, which is why I think programs like the RPM Act are so important, so that if you want to, you can electrify your 63 Buick or your 57 Chevy, or if you want to put a 632 in it, or an LT6 crate, you guys got to work on that. Throw that in there and still do that. So the fight is real, and this is just exercising that freedom, and that's what I think is so cool.
It's awesome.
I'm not sure what possibilities are out there.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and looking forward to people coming by the booth and taking a look and having some discussion about it.
Get ready to answer questions.
I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Project X. You didn't hear it come up the stage because it is now electric, and it will be in the GM display all week. Gentlemen, thank you so much for bringing it up.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, the show is not over. We are now bringing up a vehicle that is petrol-powered once again, back to the gasoline stuff. You may have seen this truck before, and I'm sure you've probably seen the driver. This is a very special pickup truck that was built a few years ago by our good friend, Mr. Chip Fuchs. Welcome, Chip. Welcome back to the SEMA reveal, my friend. Yeah, come on out. Come on over here in front of the truck because it was blocking the view. Ladies and gentlemen, Chip Fuchs.
And Kevin, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
So this is, it's a big year for you, my friend.
Yes, it is, and I have to thank SEMA for allowing us to do this, to give us this space and to be able to bring all of these customers' cars together. The oldest build is from 1995. I don't have anything new this year. Things are in the shop, we're still working on them, but this is just a presentation of a lot of old cars.
Well, so if you're not familiar with what Chip is talking about, over there in the North Hall, there is a huge display of Fuchs-built vehicles, and they go back from the Boyd Coddington days.
We've got some of Boyd's cars, and this is an overhauling project. Some work that I did with Troy Trepanier.
Yeah, I've seen the Sniper.
Yeah, and
you guys did the top shop on that one, right?
On Sniper?
Yeah.
Well, I designed that car. I did all the initial sheet metal work. Worked with Bobby Walden down in Borger, Texas, and built the buck for the top, made sure the windows would work. I did the taillights in it, flipped the bumpers, did the wedge section, and then my good friend at Chrysler, Tom Gale, he donated the Viper Coupe to us, and then that's what we put the entire undercarriage is that.
That car was unveiled here at the Hot Rod Hall of Fame 50th anniversary.
Yeah, I think that was 97.
97,
yeah.
And the car's called the Sniper because it was a Plymouth Savoy smashed into a Viper.
A Viper, yes.
The Sniper. And the way they unveiled this thing is they had a military parachute over it. Remember that?
Yes.
They pulled the chute, and here's the car. So there is so much history with the stuff that you've built, and I love to see that so many of these are still looking like they were just finished.
Yeah, so we've got 20 cars there. The oldest car is the Boyd Air, which we did in '95. When I was at Boyd Coddington shop, we built that car in 17 weeks, from the sketch to the build. And the whole theme of that car is, what if in 1957 GM was actually playing with the 59 proportions? So it's the proportions of a 59 Impala, but it's a 57 Chevy. And we've got that there, and like I say, 20 other cars, 4 Riddler winners, 2 Amber winners, and just a lot of fun cars that the customers were, nice enough to allow us to bring them out here. And then we've got a stage set up, and I'll be there every day doing drawings. And what I want to do is, with audience participation, you guys are going to tell me what to draw.
Right on.
And somebody in the audience is going to win that drawing when I'm done.
That is very cool. Love to hear that.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to having a great week.
You glazed over something in that last sentence, though. I don't know that 4 Riddler winners have ever really appeared in the same place at any time in the past, have they? In recent memory? And you're going to see it right in here.
I don't know if I've ever had all 4 of them together. I've had 3 of them together.
I mean, and not just yours. I mean, anytime. I mean, that is truly amazing to see 4 Riddler winners, plus AMBR, plus cars that you've seen in magazines and seen all over the place.
What I'm really happy about is the space that we were able to get and to have these cars spread out. Normally when we put a collection together, they're right next to each other, so you really don't get to walk around each car. But these have plenty of room. You can get around and see every angle of cars. and it's really fun. We've got some big banners hanging behind with some of the artwork.
Yeah.
And, it's just a pleasure to be here. So
And you've got other artwork on display in the show as well, right?
I'm sure there is.
Well, seeing the big renderings hang overhead really kind of lets you connect the dots between this one and that one. But this particular truck has always been very significant to you. This has a lot
This is my first car that I ever owned. And I bought this truck from my father in 1978. I was 14 years old. And he used the money that I gave him to buy this to buy my younger sister a little go-kart that she drove around at the high school. She was the high school mascot. And if you've ever heard of progeria, which is rapid aging, my sister Amy in 1985 unfortunately passed away from progeria. She was 16 years old, she was 3 feet 2 inches tall and weighed 26 pounds, but had a heart the size of America. Everybody that met Amy absolutely fell in love with Amy. And I've recently started a new charity called Amy's Depot. And we're generating money so we can help these kids because Progeria Research Foundation is out of Boston, and they're discovering, you know, the genes and what it is that causes this disease. There are only 40 kids, generally that's the average, in America alive with that disease at any time. 250 worldwide. It's one of the rarest diseases on the planet. But we're luckily being able to help. And we recently did a clinical trial with a new drug that they had developed. And I remember Sam, who was the son of the two doctors that started Progeria Research. We would do an event at Brazelton year one every year. We raise money for Progeria. And Sam was there one year, and I had seen him the year before. And Sam had grown about, I'm guessing, around 4 inches this next year.
Really?
And I said to Sam, I said, well, I was talking to his dad, Scott, and I said, Scott, how much has he grown and how much weight has he gained in the last year? And when you're doing a clinical trial, you can't actually give any of the details out. You have to keep everything under wraps until it's finished.
But you could see it.
Oh, I could see it. And he said, I can't tell you any of that information. And I turned to Sam and I said, Sam, do you have any new clothes? He said, all my clothes are new.
That's great.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So it's a pleasure to be able to help out the kids with Progeria and help Progeria Research Foundation. But with Amy's Depot, I want to raise money to help a lot of different kids.
Well, that's fantastic. And you know, round of applause for that. And I love that you're going to be doing drawings here. And I know you know this, but there are so many people that you've helped just for the inspiration to pick up a pencil or pick up a marker and a piece of paper, and don't be afraid, and to draw something. And watching your videos online, you know, when you see a finished one, you're like, wow, I could never do that. When you see how you do it, you're like, well, maybe I can give that a shot. So we thank you for that.
No, it's my pleasure. You know, when I went to Art Center, my first teacher, he had all of us in the class, you know, we brought out, they give you a list of everything you need to bring in. And there was we had to bring a drawing pad. And all of us have our drawing pads out on the table. And he says, okay, I want everybody to pull out the first sheet of paper. And we're all, struggling to make sure we get it out. We don't rip it, we don't wrinkle it. Now hold it up in front of you, and we're all holding these pieces of paper. And he says, now crush it. And he just crushes a piece of paper. He said, never forget, it's just a piece of paper. No matter how long you work on it, it's just a piece of paper. Know when to stop and know when to start over.
It's a great lesson. Well, Chip, it's always a pleasure, but I'm going to bring somebody up now. I'm sure you know Mr. Chris Kirsting, our CEO of SEMA, because he's got something he wants to chat with you about. But it's always great to see you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Chris, welcome.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks. Great job. Hey, brother.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great to see you, too. Look at all these people, man.
This is awesome.
Thank you all for being here.
We have SEMA going on again.
Right?
I missed you last year.
Yeah. Listen, just a few minutes here. I want to do a little special recognition for somebody who's brought a lot, both to the industry, to our association, to this SEMA show. A little special recognition for Chip Foose tonight. I could spend a lot of time up here just hitting the high points of the many things that you've done to contribute to all of this, but I'll try and be pretty brief. We'll start in a couple of categories. In media.
I'm going to stop you for 1 second because I want to thank you for what you're doing with all the young guns.
You beat me to it.
You're really nervous.
Yeah, I'll get to the young guns.
I was excited. I spent some time with them today, and it's just awesome.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about that because not everybody knows what we're talking about. But I wanted to talk about in the very beginning. Chip was a pioneer bringing television to the SEMA show. I think it was the pilot episode of Rides. 2002.
With Bud and I, yeah.
Just fantastic. And then that kind of evolved into a first ever really awesome thing here at the show.
That was the first show that there was a car actually built and documented on a show.
So we then had Overhaul in studio here, right? I don't know how many years we did that.
I lost 27 pounds building that car here.
So some of you may remember this. This was a 4-day Overhaul and build, delivered that car to the winner right here at the SEMA show. Fantastic stuff.
I'd do it again today.
Well, hey, you might get that chance. Then on with History Channel, Discovery Channel, with Motor Trend TV. But the important thing about all of this is it all went out there to help build the interest in customization, modification, and now it's, of course, gone crazy with social media and the internet, but that early television work was pioneering.
Well, Overhauling was the first live event ever done at SEMA.
That's right.
And look what it has created.
It's fantastic.
It's awesome.
And then we wanted to talk a little bit about Heart. You just mentioned Amy's Depot. A lot of charitable stuff that Chip has been doing over the years, but some people don't know, over on the SEMA side, the number of hours, the talent, the effort that you brought to our WD-40 builds that then went off to be charitable auction vehicles, came back hundreds of thousands of dollars for our SEMA Cares charities. Awesome stuff there. We really appreciated that. And then for our SEMA programs and services, and I just want to hit a couple. You mentioned Young Guns. So early on, Chip was one of our contestants in Battle of the Builders, was a finalist a couple times, and at one of these shows he said, hey man, I want to sit down with you for just a couple of minutes and talk about something. I have this idea, and it's about developing a youth component to the Battle of the Builders program. He said, you know, I came to this SEMA show and I was really discovered here, and I want to work with you guys at SEMA to develop a program that brings young builders here and gives them a chance to be seen, to be discovered, and to break into this world. And so we penciled this thing